I look to you for inspiration.
Why?
I don't know.
You're talking to the girl who's sat here playing with her sock.
And it's not even on your foot.
It's not even on my foot.
It's not very clean either.
No, this is what I mean. The laundry isn't very
Blame
good.
the laundry. That's right.
Do you want me to do what you do to me?
You're going to hit me in the face with your socks, aren't you?
Yeah.
The pain of not having a washing machine. The
You know
second
what?
year running
Yeah.
for me. The second year running.
My whites are just not white.
Yeah, get used to that.
Really sad. Well, I can't. Most of my wardrobe's white.
And if you get a stain, phew,
Oh, damn it.
that's permanent. I used to keep all my stained stuff and take it home. Whenever I went home, I'd just have a pile of stained clothes for my mum because I knew she'd be able to get it out. I mean, actually, had a decent washing machine there. And like, it'd get to the end of term or something, and I would just have like half a wardrobe that I could actually wear.
I can't do that.
It was very
though.
limiting. Yeah, last few weeks
Like,
of term, I ended up having to
The
just...
next time I'm going home is like in like 10 months' time.
Yeah, same. We share this problem. Just wear bibs when we eat.
Wear bibs.
It's a practical solution. And if we get a bib that has like the scoopy bit at the end, then we can...
pelican bibs.
Yeah, then we can actually finish off what we spill. Which is great for me, because I probably spill like a reasonable proportion of my dinner.
Yeah, true, actually. I never even thought of that. That's actually quite...
We'll just have to make sure we never invite anyone round for dinners, because...
Or we call it a bib party. We invent the bib party.
I
Where
don't-
everybody... You know how like people have like crazy, like weird shirt parties or like hat parties?
Yeah, but those are
We
kind of
just
funny.
have bib parties.
I don't think this one's going to catch on somehow.
I mean, to be honest, I think a lot of us have the same issues of spilling things.
Yeah? Do most of us go for such an extreme solution, though?
I'm not the one who originally came up with this idea.
No, I'm just saying that a
It's
bib party
you.
might be taking it a bit far. I'm happy for the bib to be quite private, although we are discussing it now on a podcast.
And knowing Simon, he's going to put this as
Yeah.
the B-roll. Hello and welcome to Is It Just Us? If you're new here, hi, I'm Emily.
I'm James.
And this is the podcast where we talk about all of those topics where you've probably quite often been sat there thinking, is it just me that thinks this way? And we're here to tell you, hopefully not.
Especially today.
Especially today, yeah, this is an important one actually. Do you want to do like a quick week round-off before we really get into it?
Yeah, sure. So I've been working still. So naturally,
Normal
I have
week.
nothing interesting to say.
Normal week for you.
Yeah, normal week for me. Although, I mean, last weekend, what did we get up to?
What was last week?
We went out for...
Let me consult the diary. What did I do last week? I just did trials last week.
Oh, yeah, you were still trial shifting, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I went and played social soccer, and
Social soccer.
it was good, yeah. I mean, I still want to call it football all the time,
Yeah.
which is annoying.
Well, I mean, I think the majority of our audience is English, so I think it's okay to call it football.
Yeah, true. So it was on an Astro pitch, so naturally I fell over and grazed my knee.
Just so everyone else knows, this actually happens every single time.
I'm incapable of playing football without bleeding.
He actually can't. I know that as soon as he's going to go and play football, it doesn't matter where, when, or who he's with, he will hurt himself.
Bleed. It's always drawing blood.
There will be blood.
Not always much blood. Sometimes quite a lot of it.
Yep.
Especially that time. Oh, it was like it was around New Year's a few years back, and I was running chasing the ball on wet Astro, slipped on some mud, skidded along the Astro, which hurt, and then skidded onto tarmac, which cut me up even more. So I carried on playing because I was like, well, that hurt, but I might as well carry on.
Yeah.
And then I did exactly the same thing and skidded over my grazes.
I remember seeing the photos, and it just makes me feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of skin left on my knee.
So yucky. That's so yucky.
And it didn't heal over. It didn't scab over or anything for a few days. It was just stuck.
Anyway, wait, where were we?
We're talking about what we were doing.
Okay,
So you actually started a job now.
Yesterday.
Exactly.
And we're recording this again on Saturday. I know we're quite bad at recording this sooner, but we're now busy people.
Yep.
I've actually had a pretty busy week. She says, and she can't remember anything
You've
that
been out
she's
for
done
brunch a
this
couple
week.
of times.
I've been living my best brunch life.
And a lot of them are free.
Yeah, it's been great. Okay, so my diary says Monday we had the maintenance guy over.
That no one wants to hear about that.
No, but it's adult life.
Wait, was that Monday?
Yeah,
No way, that feels like yesterday.
it was Monday.
Wow. Sorry, this is really boring.
This is really boring stuff. I then went for brunch on Wednesday and had an interview, which
went well because you got the job.
Which went well because I got the job. Thursday, I went out for drinks. Today, I went out for brunch, and then in 45 minutes, I'm going to yoga. Woo! But the main point here is that I got a job, which is really good. It's actually with the same company as James, so we basically do the same thing, except I'm on the phones, James is outside.
I'm on the doors.
You're on the doors.
Which is, I'm not sure which is worse or better, because I wouldn't want to do your job.
Then I wouldn't want to do your job.
Yeah, I wouldn't have applied to do your job. Although I did technically apply for it, but I wouldn't necessarily really want to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas you would not want to knock on people's doors.
No.
But the good thing about knocking on people's doors is that you, the nice people will do things like give you a drink. Like, I've had a beer at work.
It's slightly harder for them to ignore you, whereas someone can literally just cut me off mid-sentence.
But then the equivalent of that for me is the door in the face.
Yeah.
So we're working great jobs.
Really?
But you've only done one day. I mean, you'll get into it. You get more used to it.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Otherwise, I'm going to be really bad at this job.
You won't have any money.
I won't have any money.
That's better than nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It keeps me busy, and it keeps me occupied and with people, and it's just
and productive.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how that slides into today's topic.
Well, I think being productive's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it sort of goes back
because you were getting a bit fed up.
I was getting fed up and I was getting lonely, and that brings us onto this week's topic. There we go. I didn't even mean for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, we didn't even plan it, but I'm not sure if that was the smoothest transition you've ever seen in your life. Anyway,
no, but I am taking it.
So even if we did plan it, I'm not sure people would believe us, but there we go.
We didn't plan it.
Listening to us desperately scrabbling around for a way to transition there.
No, but this week's topic, we really wanted to talk about the really deep, broad topic of mental health. And this is mainly because this week I think it was on Wednesday. Wednesday was World Mental Health Awareness Day. And I think it's always such an important topic to talk about.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, I agree.
Because, I think for so long, obviously it's getting better, and obviously there's so much...
Removing the stigma a bit.
Yeah, it's removing the stigma, but I still think there is a stigma there.
Which is why, it's important to have things like Mental Health Awareness Day, and it's important that from that, things like this podcast also happen.
Yeah.
It's not enough just to have a day for it. That's part of the process of removing the stigma, but there has to be effort on everyone's part for that, and that's what we're going to be doing a bit today.
And I have to admit, I think if you scroll back through the last, how many episodes have we got now? Maybe 15, 16. If you scroll back up in actually quite a few of these episodes, we do touch on it.
Yeah.
Whether or not explicitly or, what's the opposite of explicit? Implicitly, we do talk about it. So things like, if you go back to our post-uni podcast, that episode, I think we mentioned postgraduate blues, and I felt those big time. And I think you were saying earlier, it's actually important to remember that mental health and mental health issues aren't just depression.
Yep. Obviously, depression is a big thing, and
issue, yeah.
It's good that we are gradually moving towards more of a space where people can openly seek help and speak out about the struggles that they're having.
Yeah.
Because suffering in silence is never a good thing.
No.
And it's only going to make things worse. But we're moving in the right direction on that. But depression does get a lot of attention, rightly so. But there are other aspects of mental health which can contribute to depression or be singular issues in their own right that range from being mild to severe without ever being depression. So things like stress or anxiety are key ones.
Well, the thing is that I think in general, everybody, at some point in their life, whether or not they're going through it now, they've been through it, or they're going to go through it, will suffer at least one of those.
Yeah.
At least. I could probably say that I've suffered to some extent, not hugely, I've never been a really, really bad sufferer of them, but I can say that I've probably suffered all three at some point.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
You know, and while, like you said, they can be singular issues on their own, they can also interconnect, and I think it's important to talk about the issues.
Yeah, and especially if, you know, some of the, I don't know, I don't want to refer to them as being side issues, because that's not giving them the respect they deserve.
Yeah.
But some of the other issues which can seeg into becoming worse and making other things worse, you know, you got to focus on them, even if they're seeming quite small issues at the time. They can contribute to a much larger problem.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we call that larger problem mental health, then it's like a spider diagram with bits coming off it.
But the thing is that it's interesting that you say that mental health is the problem.
It's not a problem. It's just the
no, but I would say mental health is I wouldn't even say it's an umbrella. I would say mental health is like physical health.
Yeah.
So mental health itself is not the problem because it's your mind, you know. But like, say, if you've got a strained calf muscle, you're going to look after that calf muscle.
Yes. Which is why there's always a lot of problems with people who are very used to not going to the doctor and stuff. You know, It's the same issue. You don't go to the doctor, you're gonna have your injury get worse.
Yeah.
Don't seek help. Things tend to get worse.
Yeah.
Without getting any better at any point.
Definitely.
So I mean, take away from that is, you notice something, don't underestimate it, don't think it's nothing.
Don't ignore it. And don't think it's nothing, because I think, I mean, I don't know about you, like I can't obviously talk for you, but I'm one of those people where, especially with any issues I'm having, say with like anxiety or stress especially, I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to sort of cause an issue for somebody else. Like, I don't want to put that onto someone else. I know that's a really bad thing to think, because
I think that's what most people think.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's quite a bad mindset to have, because, I mean, thankfully I'm in a family where my parents and my sister have always said to me, it's so important to talk, and we're very open as a family. And it's funny because I think my parents especially, they know that something is wrong even before I start showing signs. So they notice it before even I start noticing it. And they've always said it's so important to talk. Even if you feel like it's uncomfortable to talk, go and find someone you feel comfortable talking to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound advice.
Yeah.
If we're going to sort of talk about our own experience with it, what's normally sort of, I think these things quite often have triggers. At least they do for me. Like I can normally see what's caused an issue. What's normally the thing that sets anything off for you? I'm
one of those people where I like to be busy. And obviously, like, it's, you know, obviously you know that because you're my boyfriend and you live with me. My parents know that, and like all of my friends know that I like to keep busy. But then I'm the sort of person that if I'm so busy, I start to feel overwhelmed, but I'm a perfectionist at the same time. So I don't want to half-heartedly do anything. So I get very stressed because I know I can't give the right amount of attention to everything. And that causes me stress. And then as a consequence, I get anxiety from it. And then as a knock-on effect, that causes things like physical things as well. This is where the whole mental health is so important, like as important as your physical health, because they're actually interconnected. So like stress for me, I think I've spoken about this before in an episode, where I get things like I get really dry, itchy skin.
Molt.
I molt. my scalp, I get awful dandruff where it starts scabbing.
I could tell at uni when you had a lot of deadlines, because you'd come around for the weekend and you'd leave and I'd look at my bedroom and it was just covered in your hair and it's like, wow, she's clearly got a deadline this week.
Yeah. And I won't sleep. My eating pattern goes all over the place. Like, you know, 1 minute I don't want to eat and then the next I want to eat an entire packet of digestives. And I think now that I'm learning the triggers, like you said, like I'm learning those triggers, I'm starting to find ways to cope with those triggers. So like, you know, go for a walk, go and do some yoga or to the gym or read a nice book or just spend 10 minutes just...
Or more recently, putting up with getting a job that isn't a job that you necessarily particularly want.
Yeah.
But it's a problem solver in the short term. You can find something else.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what would you say is yours?
Oh, so I mean, the last 3 years are the easiest ones to draw on.
Yeah.
So I quite like people who knew me at uni know I like a bit of a routine.
Yes, same. Same.
But my routines are quite strict.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
You know, things like getting up at the same time in the morning and being annoyed if you don't leave the house within a certain set amount of time that you want to be leaving the house in. You miss 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes then gone when I went to the gym or something, or turn up to the library 10 minutes late. It's annoying.
Yeah.
And I think that's realistically you think, it's just 10 minutes. Like, what's it going to do? Whereas at the time I'm always like, what have I done?
Yeah.
So that's quite annoying.
I remember you.
But then equally, I'd fill out my time quite a lot. So my days were normally quite busy. If I was training or something in the evening as well, I'd be 9 to 5 uni normally, and then 5 head training, and then get back at 8. Then it's a case of sort of eating, and then you're really tired, so you go to bed and you want to get up early the next day.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then you start worrying because you do that for too long. You're just like, I'm not actually doing anything else.
Yeah, and then you're close to burning out.
It's not. No, so actually, interestingly, the doing of the things didn't really bother me that much. So in terms of actual stress at uni, exams were really stressful, just especially in third year because that you only get one chance at them.
Yeah.
Whereas coursework is when I actually amassed the most hours of work. So I'd be doing coursework in second year. I was doing 3 courseworks at the same time.
Yeah, I remember
and that was pretty rough. But that said, didn't really mind it, and I actually enjoyed the process of doing it. And I didn't have that same fear factor because I did everything way in advance. I was really well prepared. They weren't all amazing grades. It wasn't every single one of them was that good. I think it shows that it was two times in the year I had 3 sets of coursework at the same time. Both times the best grade was the first piece of coursework I did.
Oh.
And the worst grade was the third one I did.
Interesting.
So I think it showed that it wasn't actually a very good way of planning out the thing. But that said, I was working quite hard at it because I was enjoying what I was doing. And if I started writing, I'd done some research. Right, I'm going to write this bit up. So I start writing it. It was sort of you see the time getting on in the evening, and I'm thinking, I should probably stop now and I don't know, chill out, watch some TV, or do something just to to rest the brain. But you think, nah, like it's I'm on a roll here. I'm just going to get this bit done. And I didn't mind. Honestly, didn't mind. It was a lot of. I got quite tired doing it, but I really, really didn't mind it. Whereas exams was way more stressful. I did half the amount of work in terms of sheer hours.
Yeah.
And had twice the amount of stress. Which goes to show it's not all about how you're filling your time. It's it's a range of factors. So day to day, my time would be filled. Didn't really bother me. I quite like doing the stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a rubbish day. You couldn't get your head around what you were doing, or it was just. I mean, in my degree, you were doing something that was frightfully boring. Was quite often an annoying thing. So go to training, enjoy that. You with your friends. Even if you have a bad session. The good thing about sport is that if you have a bad session, you didn't quite hit what you wanted to, you can think, right, well, that's just my body not quite up to it today. That's fine. At least I've done something. So you can always get something from it.
And then you get the endorphin release as well.
Yeah. What I found most annoying was just there was no time for anything else. So I would just, it's when you realise those are the only 2 things you're doing. And you're so determined to do well at them that you carry on doing them. Yeah. And you're not willing to give up on it because, they always say, success needs a bit of sacrifice. Yeah. There's like, how far do you push that?
Yeah. I think you have to be very careful with that.
Yeah, so...
And it also depends on what you mean as success.
Oh, for me, it was actually getting good grades and seeing changes in my 400 time, which both things happened. So, and looking back on it, was it worth it? Probably. I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Yeah. I definitely enjoyed the challenge of doing it. Yeah. But there were certain points doing it where you're just like, that's quite a challenge actually getting through it all. And there was one point where like you were away for a weekend, and instead of doing something with my weekend, I was quite busy with uni stuff. So I dedicated my weekends to doing more uni work. I ended up working for like 2 weeks without a day off, and that was ridiculous. So do not advise doing that, because by the end of that I was like, oh my god, what am I doing with my life? I was not happy.
I think especially when it comes to your mental health, there's this big movement now which is important to this whole awareness of how important self-care is.
Yeah, and I think my self-care was quite good, but I didn't see anyone. Like, I wasn't doing enough socially, which probably was bad, because I should have really done a lot more than I did.
No, but I feel like the thing is that I feel like self-care is different for different people.
Yes.
So say my self-care, I would quite happily, for my mental health, I would quite happily lock myself in a bathroom, run myself a nice bubble bath with some candles, and just lay there in silence for 20 minutes. And I find that very therapeutic.
Yeah, sounds wicked boring.
Yeah, exactly. But I really enjoy the whole, because some people listen to music, or they read a magazine, or they watch TV.
Yeah, read a book.
I love especially like, you know, in the situation of like having a bath and all of that, I love the whole, you just lay there and you can let your mind just turn off almost. Obviously your mind's never going to turn off, but just not think of anything.
Yeah.
You just sort of stare into the abyss and just go blank for 20 minutes. And I find that really therapeutic.
Some people get that from running.
Yeah, exactly.
Long distance runners, I think they quite often just enjoy being in sort of their own zen mode when they're running. I don't get that. That's not what I run for. So it's something I don't really understand, but it's something that happens.
Yeah. Or, you know, say, obviously that's one thing I enjoy. I also really enjoy reading a book or, you know, putting a face mask on, or, I mean, the thing is that self-care is just so many different things.
Yep.
And it's one of those, you know, one of those or a handful of those things which you do because it makes you feel good.
Going to the pub.
Well, there you go. Like, the things you love, because that could be your self-care.
It was. I mean, it was something
good,
I didn't do enough at uni, really.
No, but
if I was thinking, God, I should probably do something that's different to what I'm doing, my go-to thing was to try and see someone at the pub, because
yeah, and you know, I know some of my girlfriends, they love getting their nails done because they find it's an hour to themselves where they're not looking at their phone and they just talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
And, you know, the stranger doesn't really know you, you don't really know them, but it's just nice to just talk and not look at your phone. And it's an hour just to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people quite often say, especially with those sort of things, that they feel almost like, quote, guilty for it. But at the same time, why? It brings you joy. It makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, I think feeling guilty about stuff is actually quite a big problem, because I'd feel guilty for not doing, not keeping to my routine.
Yeah.
Things like that, when you shouldn't. You should just think, oh well. Like, I see a lot of things about people on diets and stuff. They'll feel guilty if they mess up slightly. Yeah. And then the response from feeling guilty is to feel really bad, which messes everything up.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just think, oh well, like that was
just one thing.
Yeah. Which is, you know, it's the further down the mental health road you go, it's harder and harder to do that. But it's important to keep some good perspective. It
is. And I think another really important thing to remember, especially with your mental health, is, I mean, I don't know if this is helpful or a slightly down note of it, but either way, you're never, quote, cured of your problem.
No, well, you can always dip back into it.
Yes.
Quite easy.
And I think it's important to remember that there's no one-stop shop to, again, quote, fixing things. I say quote because obviously I don't really want to put terms out there to, like, you know, like, falsely say like you're fixing something or whatever, but there's no one-stop quick fix for anything. You will spend every day working on it, and every day is a different day.
Yeah, and you'll have relapses and fall back, and things won't work out. Or, you know, the great thing about life is that it just likes to randomly do something quite annoying. Yeah. Which can throw you off. It
throws you curveballs.
Yeah, but, you know, like you say, you just have to keep on at it, and you know, it's hard to do when you're feeling down, but you look at some of the people who have been in dark places and come out of it. Yeah, you think, okay, it can happen. Yeah, quite easily.
And another thing that I would always say is that, again, like, obviously our main point we want you to take away from this is to go and talk. But I remember reading a book, I think it's actually the book I'm reading at the moment, which is called How to Be Grown Up by Daisy Buchanan. And she basically says that if she could pay for every single person to have 3 free therapy sessions, she would do it.
Yeah, it'd be pretty handy, wouldn't it?
Because she said, even if you don't think you need it, it does you more good than you will ever know.
Yeah.
Because just talking to a stranger who is not judging you is so therapeutic.
I think fear of judgment is actually quite a key thing. Yeah. Which is why removing the stigma is so important.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, we're here talking about some of the stress or anxiety we've been through with stuff, because, you know, it does get to everyone, and, you know, there's probably a lot of people who would look at us and not know it, but
then that still happens.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't think, you know, looking at someone's Facebook or looking at, you know, this superficial image you have of their life, that They don't ever struggle with stuff, even if it looks like it.
Especially like things with Instagram. A lot of Instagrammers on Wednesday were saying, you see a perfectly curated view of their life. That is not actually their life. Yeah. No one's life is perfect.
And some people are very quick to criticise like things like Instagram for helping to create this kind of fake view of things. But I think what's more important is just that it's always made clear that that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one should be pretending that that's what real life is, and if they are, that's potentially part of the problem.
That's harmful. Yeah.
But if everyone sort of has this awareness that is just like it's like a bit of art, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. That's basically what it is. People use it as it's a photography. I'd say again, quote photography, because some people don't use it for that, but a lot of creators use it as a photography platform,
or even as a form of marketing. It's still like you just be aware that's what it is.
Yeah,
which is fine. It can be that. Just be aware that's what it is, and don't read too much into it.
Don't read too much into it, and don't take everything with the whole blooming salt shaker. It's not a pinch of salt, it's a whole blooming salt shaker.
And the refill pack.
Refill pack.
It was a gift set of salt, that one.
Yeah.
It was a Christmas edition.
Christmas edition.
Yeah, the salt shaker's actually got a diamond on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was expensive.
Oh.
Yeah, I got it in, what's the really expensive shop in London?
Which one, Fortnum's?
Sure, we'll go with that one.
Fortnum and Mason's?
I think I was thinking of Harrods.
Oh, Harrods, yeah.
But, yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
Diamonds and stuff.
And
salt shakers. Things that no one really needs.
No, pretty much.
I mean, salt shakers are quite handy.
They are. Otherwise, how are you going to get your salt on your food?
Well, you could just get a pinch of, like, already ground salt and just sprinkle.
Yeah, true, there you go.
But that's not got an awful lot to do with mental health, to be honest with you.
No, mind you, it kind of does, like another...
Yeah, season your food. That's quite useful.
Another point of, like, I was saying this it was a very long list of things you can do for self-care, and exercise and eating nutritional food. It's fueling your body and giving it the nutrients it needs.
Correct, yeah.
Eat well, look after yourself, sleep. That's such a good self-care.
But then don't stress if all those things also...
No, exactly. If you want to go and eat a whole pizza and a packet of digestives, you go do that. But not every day.
Yeah, probably not the best.
It probably wouldn't be the best thing if you did it every day. But if you're having one of those days, because I know I do, when you're a bit hormonal and it's that time of the month, you just need a packet of digestives or a bar of chocolate or 5.
I got sent out for Kit Kat the other day.
Yeah, and I love you for it. But
I say sent out. I was going to the gym anyway, but
yeah,
I had to detour.
I appreciated it. But shall we wrap it up there?
Yeah, it's probably before we just keep going on and on.
Keep going on about the food and just rambling on about the same sort of thing.
And people would just be like, "Wow, that was all they did was moan about times they were miserable."
Yeah, basically.
but I mean, it's a fair comment because everyone's...
Yeah, and to be honest, I think the main thing we want you to take away from this episode is to remember that everybody has down times. I'm not going to say down days because sometimes they're not days. Sometimes they're
years,
weeks, months, years. Like everyone has a period of time where they struggle.
And we're quite fortunate because ours haven't been too severe.
No, they're not. But I think we're very lucky in the sense that we are in a situation where we feel comfortable enough to talk to people.
Yeah.
And
even just opening up that doorway, here's an insight into times that weren't so good for us. It's good to share.
Yeah, I was going to say it's good to share, and I want to make sure that you know that it's normal to feel the way you're feeling.
Yeah.
It is completely normal. And I will probably actually, in the description box below, I'll probably leave some really good websites or some helplines, because, I mean, a few months ago I went through a period of time when a bit of a bad situation happened, which was a bit of a shock, and it sort of created feelings that I'd never really experienced before. So I gave some of the call lines below a call, and just, again, talking to someone. They're not there to judge you, they're just there to listen, and I think it's really important to remember that. So I know it's been a bit of a heavy one, but it's a really important topic. Really important topic to talk about, and we want to keep the conversation going, really. So we thank you guys for listening, and if you feel comfortable, we would love you to share your thoughts and your feelings about this podcast, and any experiences that you've had and any helpful tips that you've figured.
Helpful tips would be very good, actually, yeah, because we haven't really gone into that very much.
No.
But, I mean, that could be something for the future.
Yeah, I was going to say that could be another episode, actually.
In which case, any helpful tips you give us, if you're okay with it, say that we could mention them in the future.
Yeah,
and we might do that.
Drop us an email or a DM or anything like that, and yeah, let's just keep this going, and just remember it's so normal to have these feelings. And yeah, so normal wrap up before I forget. If you guys want to, you can follow this podcast and us on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow the podcast at Is It Just Us Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. You can follow me at that's_just_Emily.
Or me at that'sjusticejames_98.
And we will catch you guys next week for maybe a bit more of an upbeat episode, but we hope you have a good one, and we'll catch you later.